Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily if it is your first time here. And in today's video we are going to be doing a new makeup roundup. This type of video was inspired by Julia Adams. She does this type of video once a month where she basically goes through all the new products that she tried in that month and just tells you her thoughts on them. Almost like speed reviews, but that's what I wanted to do because I don't really do a lot of like makeup tutorials and reviews here on my channel. I'm starting to get more into like using what's in my collection, and so I thought it would be nice to like kind of sit down and talk through all the new products that I get each month. And I have bought all of these products with my own money in one way or another. I also do just want to say that some of this stuff I haven't actually gotten the chance to use yet. When I buy new makeup or when I get new makeup in the mail, I usually put it into this little bag here and I have it sitting out on my desk. And keeping this on my desk helps me remember that like I still have new makeup I need to try out. So I think there's only two things, technically three, but like two things I haven't used yet. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing that I received are some single shadows from Colored Raine. I have had the Colored Raine single in the shade Sea Breeze on my wish list for a while now after Amy Loves Makeup talked about it, and I finally got around to placing a little order, and so I picked up the shade Sea Breeze. I just dug into that one. Your Majesty, Paradise Isle, and Unexpected. And so far I have only used the shade Unexpected, and I do think that they are all different formulas, so I want to swatch them. This is the shade Unexpected. This is the shade Your Majesty. Like, see, you can see that the shade Unexpected is a little bit more sheer than the shade Your Majesty, and Your Majesty is a bit more reflective as well. Then we have the shade Paradise Isle, which I think that this is going to look amazing with a glitter glue because it's a really glittery, really pretty shadow. And then Sea Breeze. I think that Sea Breeze would be fun to wear as a highlight sometime. Like, I'm not super into colored highlights, but like every once in a while, why not? So my ordering experience with Colored Raine was, it was okay. So I had actually gotten two of the shades Paradise Isle and I didn't get Sea Breeze, so I emailed them and I was like, listen, this happened, I can return one of the Paradise Isles, and I didn't hear back from them. So I emailed them again and I was like, hey, I emailed you like 4 days ago, I haven't heard anything back. And after I sent that second email, they responded within like 24 hours and said that they would send me a Sea Breeze, which was really great. So it was okay, and the shade Sea Breeze came pretty quickly, but it was just like that initial email that I sent that they didn't respond to, and it kind of frustrated me a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, I was like, this is not that big of a deal. This is the worst thing that happens to me that day. I'm doing pretty good. So far I have only done a look with the shade Unexpected, but I really liked it. It was really, really pretty, and I can't wait to do a look with the shade Paradise Isle, just because I think it is so pretty, and I didn't expect it to be so glittery, but I love a glittery eyeshadow look, so I'm very excited for it. I worked this morning and I opened, so I had to be at work at 6:30, which is not that early, but the snow's been melting here, and then like it's been melting, so you know it's been turning to water and then like freezing overnight, and my apartment complex does a really bad job of like salting and like clearing the snow out. So I literally walked out my apartment door this morning and like the fourth step I took on the sidewalk, I busted ass. I completely fell and I like landed on my elbow, and it's like scraped and bruised here, bruised there, and I keep like jamming it on the table and it hurts. I know, at least it wasn't this one. The next order that I placed was from Vesca Beauty, which their packaging was beautiful. I took like a product shot of it and posted it on my Instagram account, but it was literally just like the most gorgeous packaging, and they have really gorgeous products as well. So I picked up their Kissed by Santorini soft matte bronzing powder, which looks like this. It's a really good shade for me. It looks a little bit lighter on camera than it is in real life, but I kind of like buying a little bit of a deeper bronzer, you know, just because I like it to be able to work for me year round. So when I'm a little bit more tan in the summer, I can use a little bit more of it, and then when I'm paler like I am right now, I can use a little bit less of the bronzer. And then I also picked up one of the highlights. This is the Stargaze Luminous Glow highlighting powder in the shade Moonlight, and I'm going to swatch this for you. So this is the highlight in the shade Moonlight. And then this is the bronzer in the shade Kissed by Santorini. What I really like about this highlight formula is that it's really soft, and your first application is not super insanely beaming or anything, but it is a really buildable formula. And I love the color of it. It works really well for my skin tone, but I think my favorite part about the highlight is just how smooth it looks on the skin. It's not chunky and glittery at all. It just gives you a really, really gorgeous glow. I thought about just applying some on top of my highlight, but I don't think I want to, because I haven't like taken pictures of this makeup yet. So far I am really enjoying those two products from Vesca Beauty. I bought another thing from my wish list this month, which is the Glossier Futuredew Oil Serum Hybrid. If you watch basically any beauty influencer who loves dewy, glowing skin, chances are you've seen this before. Everyone loves this product, and I will be honest, the texture in the formula was not really what I expected, but I don't know, I thought it was going to be a little bit thinner and I guess a little bit less oily, but like after I felt it and I like thought about the fact that like it is literally marketed as an oil serum hybrid, that's exactly what it feels like. It just leans, I thought it was going to be like a thinner oily serum consistency, and it's a little bit thicker, but it gives me the most beautiful luminosity. I should have worn it today, but I didn't. Today I'm wearing Glow Lust mixed in with my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation, but I think that it gives a pretty similar effect. The other day, I actually was going for like, I think it was yesterday, a really intense glowy look. I layered my Kiehl's sleeping mask, this, and the Glow Lust mixed into a foundation product, and it was the most beautiful glowy base I've ever seen in my life. And this does feel so deeply hydrating, and I also think the component itself is just super cute. So the next thing is I placed a little order from Sephora, and by a little order I mean like it was literally 2 things, but I picked up some things from the Colourpop Animal Crossing collection when it released on Sephora. And I actually do not play Animal Crossing, which I want to. Like, I want to get a Switch and I want to get Animal Crossing because it seems like so much fun, but I don't. But I thought this collection was so adorable, and like even though I don't play it, like I've seen people talk about it and I know like what it's about, and I do really like it. I think it's so cute, and I thought this collection was really adorable as well. There were really only 3 things in the collection that super intrigued me. 2 of them were quad and then the Super Shock Shadow. So I picked up one of the quads and the Super Shock Shadow. So I picked up the Labelle of the Ball quad, and with these quads they're pretty intuitive. Like there's a lighter matte with shimmer, a darker matte, a pressed glitter, and then a shimmer. So the look that I did with this looked exactly what you think it would look like. I used this in the crease, this to deepen it up, this on the lid, and then this glitter on top. So the look wasn't really like anything special, but it was really pretty. And this palette intrigued me so much because the shade right here is this really gorgeous like blue, green, purple duochrome shade, and I thought that it was really pretty. The pressed glitter looked really finely milled, and that's what a lot of people said about these pressed glitters, is that they were very fine and not as chunky as Colourpop's previous glitters. And as you can see, like, this does not look like a chunky glitter. Like, it almost looks like the texture of an ultra glitter Super Shock shadow, but it's not. It's a pressed glitter. And I also think the shade is really pretty because it has like green and purple in it. The other palette that I was eyeing was the green palette, but ultimately I was like, you don't really need 2 quads, like just get one, and this is the one that called to me a little bit more. I will swatch all the shades. So this glitter shade is called Able Sisters. This next one is called Taylor's Ticket. This is the duochrome called Custom Design. And then the darker matte called Serene Sable. One thing that I was a little surprised about was this darker matte. It is like super lightly pressed and creamy feeling. So when I was putting my brush in it, it was like insanely pigmented and it had a lot of kick up. Kick up is not something that really bothers me, and neither is like a super highly pigmented shadow, but I just wanted to point that out. It didn't bother me, but if kick up is something that bothers you and you don't like almost like pressed pigment type of things, oh, I'm looking at the bag. It felt like a pressed pigment because it was. It's a pressed pigment. So it's really powdery, really lightly pressed, but I didn't find that it was difficult to work with. I thought it was pretty intuitive. It wasn't anything terrible, you know? This is the Super Shock shadow in the shade Balloon Pop, and mine is a little broke. It was not broke when I got it, so I must have dropped it. I don't know. But as you can see, this is what it looks like, and I thought the packaging was really gorgeous as well, and I will give it a swatch. We all know how much I love the Colourpop Super Shock shadows. I love wearing them as one and dones, and I just love buying Super Shocks. This one is kind of like a champagne-y gold, leaning a little bit more gold and a little bit cool toned. But I think it's really gorgeous, and this entire palette is gorgeous, honestly. And then the last 2 items were from Sephora, and they were actually 2 brushes. The first brush that I picked up is the Rare Beauty concealer brush, and I think it was Ashley Rebecca who was using this and was talking about how great of a concealer brush it is. And the concealer brush that I do have, or that I was using before this one, was this little brush from a set that I got on the Amazon, from a set that I got on Amazon from the brand BS Mall, and I really love this brush set that I have. I started to kind of feel like this brush was really pokey, and I just wanted to pick up a brush that was like a little bit softer, and so I really think it was Ashley, and I think it was this brush. If I'm not, like, that's embarrassing, but I'm pretty sure it was her, and I'm pretty sure it was this brush. So the shape of this brush is meant to mimic the shape of your finger and I guess I'll just show you that it really does mimic the shape of your finger, and it just blends out my concealer so nicely. I used it today with my RMS Uncover Up concealer, and that's a pot concealer, and I just like went into the little pot, dabbed it on, and it blended it out so nicely. It's pretty dense, but not like as dense as this one that I was using, so that it like hurt my under eyes, but I've really been enjoying this. And then the other brush that I picked up, I'm kind of ashamed of. This is the Sephora Pro Highlight 98 brush, and I say that I'm ashamed of this because Sephora collection is not cruelty free, and when I was picking out this brush, I don't know what was going on in my mind, but it just didn't register that this is a Sephora collection brush and that it's not cruelty free. So I do apologize for that. I really am trying to do better with that, but I do have to say this is a really nice brush. It just applies your highlights so nicely and blends them out really well on your cheekbone. It is super effortless. It fits everywhere that I need it to fit. For the few days leading up to me getting this, I was actually using this one, and it's just a little, they are very similar shapes, but this one, which is from the brand Farah is just a little bit too big to use for highlighter. And before that one, I was using this Colourpop brush. This is the Colourpop E15 brush. This was a big fluffy brush, but my dog actually got a hold of it and chewed it, but she flattened it out, and it's like a little tiny fan brush now, and it actually worked really great for highlight. But I just wanted to try something with a different shape, and this is the exact shape that I wanted, and it's working out really, really well. All right, so finally we're going to talk about the stuff that I got in my Boxycharm and my Ipsy this month. Now, I don't remember what products came from which subscription service, so I'm just gonna kind of group them all together in one category. So the first thing I got is this Maelle Beauty Sunkissed blush. The component itself is super gorgeous, and this is huge and it has 4 different blush shades in it, but what I've been doing is just kind of swirling them all together. This is a really, really nice blush. When you swirl all the colors together, the blush that you get is very, very pink toned, but I don't mind that. I think it looks really pretty. It's really easy to apply. It is super, 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 super pigmented, so I have to be quite careful when picking it up on my brush, but I have really been enjoying this. Then this is probably like tied for my top favorite thing that I got in my subscriptions this month. This is the We Are Fluid Browzey Brow Gel. First of all, the component. I feel like the packaging of literally everything I got this month is so beautiful. This is just really cool packaging to me. I love that this is like purple and not black, because I feel like most brow gels have like a black bottle and then the little stars on the cap. It just makes me happy to look at, and this is a really nice brow gel. I'm wearing it in my brows right now, and I'm actually gonna just like fluff them up a little bit more. The hold on this is amazing. So that clear mascara was interacting with this, because ever since then I've only used it on its own, basically on my bare eyebrows, and it has been so nice. It doesn't make my eyebrows crunchy at all, but it gives them a really nice hold. I wouldn't say that it holds them like straight up or super fluffy, but it's really easy to maneuver them back to how I want them to look with this. So next I got this like Wander Beauty palette, and it has a blush, a highlighter, and then this 6 eyeshadow pans. Now, I have used this blush, and I'm gonna be honest, I am not gonna use these 6 eyeshadows like together, basically, like as an entire palette. So in my makeup inventory, I actually entered these 4 shimmers as single shadows, and I haven't used any of them yet. Or did I? Yeah, I did. I used the shade Yacht, and it was really, really pretty, but I also haven't used the highlight either. But the blush was really pretty, and that shade Yacht was really pretty, so I am going to keep this around in my collection, and I do enjoy the shimmer formula. Then we got this setting spray by Gerard Cosmetics. This is the Slay All Day setting spray, and I don't really know how I feel about this yet. I haven't really like fully tested it out yet. I did spray it on my face once, and it was super heavily fragranced, and it actually like made me like have a sneeze attack. And fragrance isn't something that usually bothers me. I don't really care if it's in my makeup, but something about like having it be in a setting spray, because you know, like you spray your setting spray on your face and you're kind of like inhaling it, and it like gets all in your eyes and in your mouth and your nose, and it made my eyes burn. And it probably has alcohol in it. It does. It's the second ingredient. But like, I feel like I've used setting sprays with alcohol in them before, and they probably have gotten in my eyes, and it's never burned like as much as this one did. So I don't really know how I feel about that one yet. Maybe it'll make my makeup look amazing, and I will eat my words later on, but so far it's just kind of for me. I got this lip liner duo from the brand called Saint Luxe, which is a brand that I've never heard of before. We have more of a brownie shade and then more of a red shade. So the first one here is the more red one called Love Letter. And on first application, these were super dry. Like, there was basically no pigment to them. This is the shade Secret Admirer. But after I've used them a few times since then, they have gotten a lot more creamy. I still wouldn't say they're like the creamiest formula I have, but Depending on what I want my lip look to be, sometimes I don't love a super, super creamy lip liner. In my opinion, a lip liner should help prolong the wear of whatever you put on top. And if you have a super creamy lip liner, it may not necessarily help prolong the wear of the lipstick and the products on top of it. So sometimes I find that having a more firm, like waxy consistency to my lip liner really is better for me personally. And so I think I'm going to really like these lip liners. I just have to wear them more, honestly. But I feel like I've also worn them each at least twice, so I do like them so far, I will say that. Then we have this thing from a brand that I've never heard of. This is the Tint Beauty Dew Balm, and this is like one of those Vaseline highlighter products, and I wore this recently and I loved it. It actually wore really well. I'm pretty sure on the day that I wore this recently, I did wear my hair down and it didn't like catch on my cheeks at all, and it stayed pretty moist and Vaseline-y all day. What I like about this is that it's not just like the Vaseline gel formula, it actually has some shimmer in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see. I think you can see it has a little bit of a shimmer in it, and when you look at it like this, it looks like it has glitter in it, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it literally at all. It looks like it has like a thick glitter chunk in it. Not one. It looks like it has thick glitter chunks in it. But when you swatch it and then when you apply it to your face, it just looks so luminous and dewy and pretty. And I'm pretty sure when I applied this, I applied it over a powder highlight. And I'm going to be honest, I think it did break up my makeup a tiny bit underneath. But I am starting to like more light coverage base products, so it didn't really bother me that I didn't have as much coverage underneath, and it didn't like lift up the product underneath so that it looked like I had like a stripe of missing makeup on each of my cheeks. It just looked a little bit less full coverage in that area, and it honestly didn't bother me that much. But I thought that this wore beautifully throughout the day. Like, I definitely applied it in the morning, and then later on that night, like when I was taking my makeup off, I was like, oh wow, that's still on my face. So I really think I'm gonna like this and get a lot of use out of it. And then last but not least, we have what is probably my favorite makeup acquisition of the month, and that is the About Face Beauty Matte Fluid Eye Paint. I do know that I got this in my Ipsy because I was able to pick it, and I haven't used this on my eyes yet, which I know. I watched Halsey and Manny MUA's video. Oh my gosh, look at that, it just blends so nicely. Okay, anyways, I watched Manny MUA's video that he did with Halsey, and in that I just like fell in love with her, with Halsey I mean. I just fell in love with her and her makeup brand and her thinking behind it. And I personally did not know that like she is literally a makeup artist and that she does all her own looks for everything. I'm not a huge fan of her music, if I'm being honest, but I have always thought that she has beautiful makeup, and I just literally did not know that it was her who did it. I think that it makes a lot of sense that she's coming out with her own makeup brand, or has come out with her own makeup brand, and in that video, this was definitely the product that I was the most interested in, and I'm really excited for this shade as well. It's like a warm toned kind of terracotta shade, and I'm very excited to use this on my eyes, and I'm excited to test it out without a base underneath and to see how it wears on its own. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this type of video, and I enjoyed filming it, so I definitely think that I'm gonna keep doing this every month. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe before you go, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye!